TrailHub's timeline tool will help you predict what time you might arrive at certain towns along your trip, how long it'll take to get to certain points along your ride. This demonstration is being recorded on a laptop. If you look at it on your phone, it'll look a little different, but it'll work the same. It'll just be laid out differently. And I'm using the Elroy Sparta trail. TrailHub supports several different trails, and we have the timeline tool on all of the websites. If you want to see what other trails we support, just go to trailhub.com. So to get started, we just need to gather a little information about your planned trip. What town do you want to start at? Here are all the main towns along this trail. Let's say we're going to go from Elroy all the way out to Marshland. And let's not do the round trip for now. Tell it what time you want to start your ride. Let's say 8 a.m. Your speed, I know a lot of people don't know what their average riding speed is, and of course it will vary from ride to ride and even throughout your ride. We're just going to use 10 miles an hour as a good easy pace. And then we also put in time to allow for stops because you're not going to just ride straight through. You're going to stop to refill your water bottle, to use the bathroom, to grab a snack, whatever. This won't be precise, but we're going to add just a little bit of time to allow for that. So let's add an extra 3 minutes per stop, or an extra 3 minutes per trailhead to allow for stops. Once you've put all that in, click on Build the Timeline. It'll take a few minutes or a few seconds to run, and it will give you a map like this. So here's our start point, Elroy, and we have these time indicators along the trail. So roughly 30 minutes into your ride, you should hit Kendall. Here's roughly an hour into your ride. Let's zoom out a little bit. You should hit Norwalk right about 2 hours into the ride, and so on. And if we go all the way over here to the far west, by the time you get to the stopping point at Marshland, it's almost 8 hours. Now, if we scroll down a little more, we'll see all the details that make this up. So Elroy is the starting point. You leave Elroy at 8 a.m. Here are all the different services and businesses available there. And it will take approximately 29 minutes to get to the next town of Glendale. Once you get to Glendale, it's another 7 minutes or 1.3 miles to get to the town of Kendall, and so on. And so for each town, we tell you based on your starting time of 8 a.m., you would hit Kendall around 8:40, and 40 minutes would have elapsed. So you can see we've got the same information for all the towns along the trail. Now we'll go up and make a few changes. Let's include the round trip, and also just to make it look a little neater, I'm going to change this the service listings to symbols instead of words. And let's click Build Timeline again, and I'll show you what that does. So now our map still has these same white indicators for your ride out for the first half of your round trip, but it now also has these black indicators for your ride back, the second half of your trip, because again we checked the round trip checkbox, meaning we are going to start at Elroy, go all the way out to Marshland, turn around and come all the way back. So what that means, for example, on your way out, the first half of your ride, you still hit Norwalk around 2 hours, but then you go all the way out, turn around and come back, you would hit Norwalk somewhere between 13 and a half to 14 hours. Of course, this is all approximations, and things will vary throughout the ride, but this at least helps you get some good approximations, and it saves you from having to do all that math. And we come down here again. There are 2 extra columns now. We still have these first 2 columns for your trip out, but now we have the same 2 columns for your trip back for the second half of your trip. So for each town, you now see approximately what time you hit that town on the first half of your ride, and then approximately what time you would hit that town on the second half. Again, assuming that all your settings remain constant, which they won't, but it will help you at least get a good rough approximation. Also, remember we had changed the services from words to symbols, so now you see these little icons instead of the words, bike or library, parking, restaurant. Now let's go down to the bottom. I'll show you a couple other features. If you have cookies enabled, then when you come back to this page again in the future, it will remember your settings. But you can also use this link. This link has all your settings built in. So if you want to, say, share this timeline with somebody else, you can send them this link, and when they open the page, it'll have all the same speed and start time and start city, end city, and so on. Also, you might want to download this information. That's what this is for. If you click this, it will create a CSV file, which can be opened in Excel. And I'm using Firefox, but this works the same in most browsers. It created the CSV file. I double click it, and it's going to open it in Excel. And here we see all the same information that was on the web page, but it's just in Excel. So you've got your times and distances and towns and everything. So, oh, and one other thing, if you're planning your trip, also be sure to check out the Trip Planner. It's another tool that you will find extremely useful in trying to plan your ride. So, have a good time out there on the trail. Thank you for using trailhub.com. Happy trails!